Okay, it's been a while. Oh my gosh. When I reflect years ago now, when even in 2018, 2019, it was very rare for me to even sit down and watch TV because of imprinting. And tonight I was reminded in a Dharma class, even my own mindset as I'm like turning my head going, oh my, not my greatest side. Oh my gosh, if you only knew where my hair caught on fire at the monastery, and me and the Bhante laughed because it was like, wow, here's a good lesson to bear. And so, to be thankful, right? Oh my gosh, bringing me back even to my childhood where my hair was chopped off as a kid, and oh my gosh, even my friend, oh, it's her story to tell, to say the least. Either way, it's been a long time since her and I have connected, so either way, maybe it'll happen. I just know that sometimes I have went and said to Buddha, please bring me modern teaching, bring me stuff that, you know, we can all comprehend, and I've done that, and it's like, it's interesting how things unfold and how you just know the presence of something greater than yourself. And so even when I think of the Archangel Chamomile, and I'm like, I accept your help now. And this wholesome mindset. And today, I mean, I did another video where I was losing my, let's just say I was agitated, really agitated. And the reason being is that we as human beings are not to attack other people's faith and believe in what they believe in, because everybody's experience is different. And so when we subject ourselves to stuff, there's times where I'm like, oh no, this was brought forward for me to watch. And even though I watched the very beginning of it, I'm just like, oh Lord, love a duck, and all these things were coming up. And it's like, okay, so what is it about this that I have attachment to? And seeing it the way that I may have seen it and how it's crossed my path. I'm looking at these notes because I just finished a Dharma class. Oh my gosh, blessing Sanjan Nado. So here I am, I'm like looking at this beautiful, unique prayer grid, and I have this little turntable, and I turn it, and Babaji is the picture that flashed in my mind, that I have this little crystal about life. Okay, and this is supposedly from Egyptian time, but for me it's continuing in life, right? And I turn this little turntable. I don't have addiction to gambling or anything. This is just a different way for me to have the beautiful enlightenment spirits come forward in my team of what is of light, and to bring me validation. Not that I need validation, not that I need to be attached to it, but you gotta admit, it's beautiful when you see this card of Angel Cassiel and peace, and you're like, oh, and then Gaia and the earth connections, and I'm like, okay, this is beautiful. So either way, I got to do both. Feeling peace by going to the class, but also with Gaia and connection with Mother Earth. And so even though, you know, we have to control what we take in, I guess one is very protective when those that once did something and rode the wave. They rode the wave of this path. And it's evident a bunch of things went on. And then all of a sudden the person writes a book about why not to do the path that they rode on. What got them to where they are today. switching. It's all, forgive me, politicians. It's like being a politician and being for one party and then switching for another party. And so, and bashing the other party. And not that I am a single wolf here. I really am. I have faith in something greater than myself. Even when I say, let it be, leave it to God, right? Let it be, leave it to Buddha. What I'm talking about is something greater than most understand. It's like when you cross, there's no borders. It's basically the experience of all that is. Being in love and kindness. It's like if you're following preceptors, you're following virtues, you're following like the 10 commandments is the old way, but they have more commandments now than they did before. And even if you go into the depth of things, it's like, you better feed the deer. If you don't feed the deer, you are basically breaking a commandment. And then the life that I live in the community, it's like a country feel, but it's in the city. And you can get fined, you can get in trouble, even though the park's just down the street within walking distance. So what do? I take a bunch of, even though you're not supposed to feed the deer at all, even in the park, guilty. Oh, Lord love a duck, I'm in trouble now. I'll bear my sins. I'll repent if need be, but at the same time, I'm a human being after all, and I'm not going to be hard on myself. And so anyway, anything we take in that affects us, oh my gosh, you should see sometimes. I'm just like, I love the angel, I love the saint, I love the relics, I love the deities, I love the devis, I love the gods, the goddesses. I love people. I'm a giving person. I give all the time. I receive, and I've learned how to receive, and that's taken me years to do. And I know, even as myself being the mystic Buddhist that I am, I don't need all these tools, but they sure make it beautiful. They really do. It's like I was saying earlier, anything with energy. I mean, here it is being, almost attacked because of crystals. And then I'm like, well, wait a second. Look at the stupas. Look at the relic towers and the crystals, that are embossed with cremation. Look at the crystals on top of the stupa. Look at the crystals that are amongst us on the ground surface. This is not Satan's work. This is not Mara's work. It's not the devil's work. This is love. This is love. But also, I have to go back again and take a really hard look and see why such an attachment. I believe attachment for me, and my beautiful baby's laying there sleeping, the wholesome mindset is the fact that for me to bring myself back and be where I am, I know that I've been tortured in different ways. I've been tortured with boots on the ground sort of way, through excruciating pain and suffering. Not that I brought upon myself. Some people say you're just born to suffer. Some of us are, but then we're also here as catalysts to create change, to help evolution and evolve and stand for the rights of what we believe in. If we feel we're being abused, no means no. And so there are those out there that want to bash, that want to cause ill regard and intent, that want to cause pain and suffering and to bearing judgment amongst everything else. You think God, in the name of love, in an ambiance presence, would want to cause that kind of separation? I don't think so. And so for me, I guess being a mystic and being a Buddhist, even while I was in Dharma class, there was this menial on the frequency line at channels, and somebody said, well, there's this guy and he's a Buddhist and he's a mystic. He's a Buddhist mystic. And he puts his Buddhism in front of his mysticism, like Buddha. And then it's like as if there's something wrong with the way I have been channeled that beautiful message from myself, and to learn to have a better understanding of it way back years ago. It's not like I put one ahead of the other. And so it's like Thich Nhat Hanh, living Buddha, living Christ. He had a great understanding of both. And so, and the combination of not only that, those who help co-create and create the magic so that we can all learn from it. And not only that, it's still something beautiful. Like a Bhante one time told me, like, I was giving up everything. I mean, I was giving up materialism. I had my mattress on the floor. It was a sanction to go to the monastery, going through divorce, giving up everything. I mean, I have given away things many, many occasions, not being attached to it. Even for the experience of what is, and realizing that it's greater even than my understanding. And one day I'll have a life review in a whole different perspective from a wider lens, and I will really, really see. And I feel like that's unfolding for me either way. It's unfolding because it comes back to, what is my attachment to being so upset? What was it that got me so entangled? Well, when you are psychic, a medium, a healer, you spent thousands of dollars on courses, you've learned from all these different people, even the monastery monk, to back what I was saying. Even then, when I was at the monastery monk would ask me, well, why aren't you going on holidays like everyone else, like all the other lay people? I wasn't in that state at that time. I was actually contemplating on being a nun, but I didn't like the word nun, N-U-N. So obviously, it was not meant to be. But I had fast for the longest time. I think I celebrated over a year. I can't remember now. But I know I did it for a very, very, very long time. And so we can all be on certain frequency lines where certain things can occur. And I'm a love through the lens girl. There are times like today where I did something beautiful for someone else, and I'm just like, oh, please, like privacy, like, asking for help in a way of love and kindness. And so it's just that there are those out there that don't get me wrong, they cause harm, they cause or regard ill intent, they do witchcraft, they do things that may not be of love and kindness. It's a whole different world. I have something in faith of greater, and not to measure myself with anyone else. I have been telepathic, telekinesis. I've been tortured at times that it's unexplainable. And some would say it's demonic, it's demons, it's all this stuff. Sometimes that can be the truth, as it may. There's other times, though, that I know that human beings are capable of things. When I talk about puppeteering and doing things, this can go for any faith belief system, because us as human beings, we can be conditioned a certain way. And I just know that I've had so many people on my path who have went through pain and suffering. And it's like, I know I'm not to bear it. I know I'm not to carry it. But we start to wonder the oneness and what is in an ambiance presence way, and having compassion and understanding, the Eight Noble Path. It's like, okay, the review, here we go. Now I'm going the right understanding. Okay. Understanding that the wholesome mindset, it's kind of like that analogy, stop, take a step back, observe, and process, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. And realizing, and I have sat in the thick of it like a lotus in murky waters, and just went, okay, I know, like, whew, in so many ways, in this feeling, this vibration, this energy, where it's not mine to bear. It's for them to own, and it's almost like a test. It's like these lessons as part of the experience. Our soul wouldn't set us up for things where we're failures in life. I mean, I'm breathing still. And it even gets back to those that die by suicide and changing the programming, and for those that are willing to receive, right? How there are those that are very spiritual and they're taken by suicide. They don't commit a crime. The DSM wants to call it died by suicide. And so whatever it may be that you have faith and believe in is yours to uphold and to continue on. And I say thank you. Thank you. Not that I want to call it ignorance. I want to say thank you in order to be with peace of what is, and how there are people out there doing podcasts that are doing things just like me and doing this recording and realizing, oh my gosh, the right view and a wholesome mindset is being able to not be attached to it. And I still am. And I'm recognizing that. I've been affected personally. But not only that, I'm such a loyal person to a fault. I'm such a truthful person, even to a fault, that there are times where I have been played. There's been trickery played upon me. And I'm talking about real human beings, that I've even been to a point where it's like Stockholm syndrome, because here I am having this faith and belief, and I still do, where people are not them in themselves and their behaviors and what they do. And sometimes that can be this puppeteering master where these energies come ebb and flow through you. And they may have been, it's like spirit tonight. During the class, I was feeling this combustible pain. And sometimes it can be blockages, and spirit is not able to go where they're meant to go. And they're there holding on to your auric field, your energy, because they're so full of curiosity and they want to learn from us all. And it's like, yeah, into the light. Off you go, whether it's off into the river, whether it's up into the light, into the heavens, the golden temples I call, and heavens above, however you believe it to be true. I know that one spirit said that he's been following this bishop who is online, who is very, very popular for years, and then turned and was crossing over and said, I'm sorry, Tina. And then that spirit that crossed into the light that believes in heaven was saying to others, come join me, like no pain and suffering, come join me. And some of these other spirits were like, yeah, I'm too curious. I still want to learn. And so it's like a different energy. It's like this spirit, the one that said he was sorry, it was like, whoo, like up. Like it was like this, when you think of a tunnel of light, I think of the seraphims. I think of the gods, goddesses, whatever you want to call it. Deities, devis. It's a higher vibrational level, a higher dimension. And this beautiful energy can radiate down on you as like a pillar of light, and the light that you are. And so that spirit, so the seraphims can, like a vacuum, suction them up into the light where they're meant to go, or wherever they choose to. So the person no longer, it's impermanence. We're talking no body anymore, no heart beating. It's a consciousness. It's this personality with the remembrance of who they are and are still kind of like a time loop where they're stuck in time. They're full of curiosity. Maybe they're staying because the grief and loss in a realm of grief and loss. They can be whatever. Every situation is different. Either way, I went by the stupa today, and I noticed that when I go by the stupa, it always makes me feel good. And I can't explain it. It's like I have my little, how some people have a conversation with God? Well, I have my conversation with Buddha and the relics. And it's like I go around the stupa And it's like, first I went to this one place where I love to buy crystals and stuff. And I'm there and I'm like, blah, 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 you know, it's kind of like, I can't believe people are cursing and hexing the fact that there's crystal stores and their faith and belief in what is. So I get into it and it's like an attachment of protection because this place I love to go to and support. And not only that, I have a faith and belief in different things. And so then I started driving home like, oh no, I gotta go by the stupa. And so I go to the stupa, and I'm going to the stupa, and it's like, no mota said, reto, reto, zema, sambuta said, and I say it my own way. And sometimes I can have a little bit of a different, depending on what monk that is around me, I can say it a little different according to the different, it's almost like taking, like I'll go back to super in a second. It's like tonight being taught, okay, here's the Bodhi tree. It's like an umbrella, and there's 4 types of people, and they're described as mice, and it was really fascinating. And I've heard the story before, but I love hearing it again. And it's like, okay, I think I'm the second mouse. Yep, there's a hole already created, and I go right into there, and I can meditate, I can do that. And the way he was describing it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that I can resonate with. But I know there's been transitional changes in times where I may have been a different kind of mouse, dependent on situations, psychosocial stressors, where I am in life, my understanding of Dharma, living a life, not only that, of virtues, and moving forward. And so here we are. There are times like tonight, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, Buddha's at work. Buddha's doing his thing. Yeah. And so is Lord Maitreya, who's also known as Ascended Master Jesus, Yeshua, however you want to refer to him. They both have many different names, depending on how you can resonate with them. Either way, the wholesome mindset, right? It's like, wow. I'm like, thank you, Buddha. Thank you. After the class, I'm like, sadhu, 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 because I know you're still doing your work in a unique, beautiful way. So I'm back to describing to you the experience at the stupa. So I go with my dog and I'm going around and I'm paying homage to Buddha. And I know the relics are there and every other beautiful energy you can imagine. And so all of a sudden I feel this energy kind of like go down. And so it's kind of like into the river, kind of like rebirth. It could be that somebody's already done their 7 days of visitation and doing different stuff and fulfilling that curiosity of being earthbound. And I still don't have a clear understanding of that. With Dharma teaching, it can go on and on and on and having different understandings. It's like being reminded tonight about different things where I'm like, oh, wow. And again, I've done it before where I've been around the stupa and I called the angels in with me. And that story I told you about briefly about my hair catching on fire, well, I know that I had an angel candle there and one of the lay people cursed it. Not that their intention was to do such a thing. They just didn't quite understand it. And so I had for a while, because I remember one time being at the stupa and somebody put a pin with blood and left it on the stupa. But this wasn't, this was not good energy. And so some people say, oh, don't even talk about energy, is what I learned today. And I think, oh my, and not everybody lives a life of a new earth perspective. Now, don't get me wrong, back in 2007 or so, I was following 2 teachers online that did a course, and it was all about that. And there's no regard or intent about any of that. I actually quite appreciate their teachings, the things that they taught me, because, wow, I wouldn't be where I am today. Now, whether I take teachings and agree to disagree, I take what is of value to me. It goes right back to all these years really choosing what it is that I want to have imprinted in my consciousness. At the same time, we're guided. And sometimes we might not even want to listen to something. We might not even want to look at it. But then it redirects us. What is the attachment? Why is it that we don't want to look at this? We don't want to face this. Is this like some call spiritual bypassing? what is it about it that we don't want to face it? You know, the beauty is I have one person I know that will write beautiful things about their experiences in life, and they'll take it, they'll put it in a jar. And then in the new year, they sit down and they read all the beautiful memories of the year. I know somebody else that will write things that happen that weren't of love and kindness, that were detrimental and upsetting of the experience, and they put it in a jar and they close it, and they still keep on adding to the jar. And so one is no more right than the other. As long as each one, it's being of service to them. So the one that's putting it in a jar and it's beautiful things, it brings and lightens their heart. Every time at the end of the year, they basically review it, and there it is. The one that puts it in the jar, they're releasing it. It doesn't serve them anymore. They're letting go, which also brings joy to the heart. So one is no different than the other. It's having this right view in a way that it's whatever is for you and your faith and your belief in moving forward. One is not any more right than the other. We're taught, and I mean perspective, right? When I look at mental health, and there are those that are bearing judgment on certain things. And again, who am I to say that if somebody wants to use the word committed suicide because it's been ingrained in them and they believe it to be true, and they feel like they believe that there's a hell, that there's a ghost realm, and that there's there's earth, and then there's the god and goddesses and so forth. And some believe even more realms than that. That would be me, by the way. 12th dimension and more. That's just my faith and belief. That's the mystic / Buddhist in me. And so there are others that are like, okay, this is all an illusion. Like, you are the master of your own creation. You are the captain of your ship. You are creation. You are the one that is moving forward and making every decision in the manner that you are, and you're choosing. You have free will. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's almost like, imagine yourself being the only human being in existence. It'd be pretty hard, wouldn't it? So for me, sometimes I'll be driving along, and I know it's the year of 2026, which adds up to 10, which 1 + 0 is 1. And so I know sometimes I'm like, my divine guidance team, show me that I'm on the right path. And not that I have expectations of that at all. Actually, I'm just going to ignore that I even said that, because the reality is I don't even ask. It's like, it's not even about manifestation for me. It isn't, because that is just something where I'm just going to be with what is, whatever unfolds in the way of beauty and love and peace and tranquility and harmoniously and in harmony is so important. And so I can be driving along, and like I said, I'd be like, okay, I made this decision instead of this one, but yes, look at that, number 7. Yeah, Buddha. Oh, I was born in the 7th month. Yes. We all can resonate with different things that bring us joy, that brings us peace, that brings us tranquility, that brings us things in a harmonious way. It's like the numbers for me. I can be late for something and I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to be with what is, because it's possible I could avoid an accident. It's possible, like, different things. And I know some people don't believe in that stuff, and that's okay. Just be with what is. It's not that the old programming that I was told, oh, if you're late for something, you're disrespecting that person by not valuing their time. I'm sorry. At the same time, people will teach, that same person will teach that time doesn't really exist. It does in the world for human conditioning and for us all to be law-abiding citizens. And where does it end? It doesn't. There's always things to learn from one another. And so I come back to this wholesome mindset and what you want to subject yourself to and what you don't. It's like getting a letter from someone, and this has happened so many times where there has been ill regard, ill intent, and it's like, okay, Tina, you're loyal to a fault. You know this. You recognize this. What is it about attachment to being loyal? What is it about that? What does it bring you? Does that bring you peace? Does that bring you joy? Does that bring you tranquility? Well, it can bring you pain and suffering as well. And so realizing that I have to step back and have healthy boundaries and stand in what I believe in, and that's self-worth within myself as a human being, and not to be treated in a certain way. It's like when some people say God edged you out, right? There's a reason for it. It's meant to be. It's an ebb and flow of the experiences. It's like, oh my gosh, I this sounds so odd, but I've been coming through the front door, and now normally I always come through the side door, where I have a beautiful statue of Buddha and some other things that most people would find very unusual. But it brings me peace, it brings me love, it brings me joy, it brings me safety, it brings me many, 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 many things. And so for me, it's like, wow, I had to do something that prevents something from, something of someone else's into my home. And so I'm doing something where I'm getting Buddha to help program. Now, most people think I'm crazy, but this is no different than Dharma teachings and different things that go on. And so I'm just an unusual duck. What can I say, right? I look like a duck, I quack like a duck, I must be a duck. Either way, the same thing can go for a dove, a lion, however you may want to perceive it. We're all humans. We're all conditioned from our life experiences and where we want to go with being triggered and so forth. There was a time in my Dharma teachings way back, and I know I've reached enlightenment, and then I got gaslighted and I wasn't able to abstain it. There are people that are able to abstain it even when they're going through pain and suffering at times, but they're not allowing it. It's like the Tethered Soul, the Untethered Soul book. I haven't finished reading the Untethered Soul book, and I believe that's what it was. I could be wrong. I could be getting the books mixed up, and forgive me for that. Either way, I'm not trying to promote anything. I just know that there's different teachings out there, and even like Babaji coming forward, and I'm like, whoa. For me, that brings me joy. Not that I become reliant on it. I like I said, I could walk away from things. I know what it's like to literally have nothing. Nothing. Not even my dignity. I know what that's like. I know people that have also experienced such a thing. And some would say that's the work of evil. I believe that. That can be humans that do sorcery, that do black magic, that do witchcraft. But in all fairness, there is light too. And so knowing that to be true, I know that to be true. I know myself. It's like I have a prayer in unusual ways. It's like my mantle downstairs, right, that I have right now. I'm like getting spirit, move this around, do this, do that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take my time in this and process and do it in the divine fashion I'm meant to. And so right now I have this mantle, and it's full of like peace stones. The intentions are pure, so pure. There is no expectation whatsoever, than peace. And it's interesting how I find spirit works, So, for example, sending Master Buddha and the relics, they will do things different than you ever planned. Like, you can turn around and have full intentions. Okay, I'm bringing this. I'm going to gift this to the Bante, because, you know, he can use a piece coin, like a stone. It has peace on it. And some have gold, some have like white print, black print, whatever. And it's like, you don't even have to gift it to them to have the purest intention for them to invoke peace. You can see, this is a manifestation thing, but I don't look at it as a manifestation. It's like a prayer. It's like a wish. It's like granting someone a miracle, even though it's not you. It's an ambiance presence of love. It's of oneness. And so here I am. I find myself at the monastery, and I'm fumbling over in my bags and stuff, and because I'm like driving in, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get the garbage cans for the Bante so they don't have to come outside and bring them. So I'm fumbling with my dog. I'm fumbling with, you know, it's about, I don't know how many minutes it is before class, but either way, I'm sure there was a magical synchronicity in that too. Probably 7 minutes, either way. This man's driving out, a lay person, and he stops his car because he sees me fumbling, and I feel like he sees me, but I'm still doing my thing because I'm just gonna be of service. And he comes over, and then he's like, I'll take you, you can go to class. So I'm like, okay. And I'm getting my dog to pee, but my dog wants to go the opposite way. Instead of towards the building, wants to go the opposite way. And I'm like, okay, I can see what you're doing here, spirit. Yep, okay, relics. Okay, Buddha, I'll give the stone to this gentleman. And then I'll get to class, and sure enough, I made it to class on time. And so the intentions are pure. And times like that, it's like, if only you knew, this isn't a gift from me. It's almost like you're the messenger, you're the conduit, you're the human being that of a source would love to bring joy and peace and tranquility to. I'm a conduit. I'm a human being living a human being experience. Don't get me wrong, it brings me joy in knowing and celebrating the fact that the relics and Buddha were like, yeah, guess what? You're not giving that to the Bante. You're actually handing that to a lay person that just did a beautiful deed. And I have no idea what the beautiful deed is. I know him and his wife serve food to the Bantes and stuff. And so it's kind of like that sort of thing, you know? It's like going into the monastery and then seeing a beautiful lady that I gifted I call Bodhi tree. And she's all worried about the leaves. And I said, how is it doing? She goes, oh, they're growing back, you know, because of the transition in the winter time of gifting it to her. And then I was like, I was going to give these 3 candles, pillar of candles, and they're just clear pillars of white. And I put some Florida water in there because the Florida water is purity. And in a heaven sense, it's like this stuff here. Not that I'm promoting anything, but just to give you an idea. And so I found that when this is put with other things, there's like a golden yellow that appears, even though it's clear. And so, but it even says on it, right? An essence of the heavens. It has plural, heavens. So how many heavens are there? I know there's a golden temple and heavens above that I believe in. And so, and some people believe in heaven. Some people believe that, you know, other planets are heaven. Whatever you believe in is okay with me. You know, everybody seems to have a say from their experiences and moving forward. There's like the wise mind that opens up, and I'm like, oh. And even then, my ego, you know, you don't realize it until after the fact, and you're like, okay, that was cool. And that moment of now of what is. Having those aha moments, and that has nothing to do with the new earth, by the way, even though some may think it to be so. See how that transmission just came in? That was not me or myself. Sometimes things will come forward. Us as human beings, I truly have faith and belief in from the time we're born and the first breath we take. We're conduits. We're all psychic beings. Some are turned on, some are not. It's wild. It's getting different languages come in your mind. You're like, what does that mean? Oh, okay, I have a knowing, but I have to double check. What does that mean? Oh, sequoia. It means these trees, these sacred trees, and the border of the ocean, along the waters of California. And it's like, oh, wow. And then it's kind of like a sign for me to get out and touch my trees. The one that I have called Yeshua in the front, the one in the back that's glorious. And when you think of glorious, I think of the angels. So either way, there's divine connections to Gaia, the earth plane surface, Mother Earth. And so, yeah, and there's the Father Sky, and there's just different things and how everybody resonates and relates to it. So I guess for me, it's like I'm willing to learn always, and I'm willing to teach, but at the same time, use discernment. Take as you may. You have a destiny. You may feel that whatever your destiny is, it's your freedom to accept what you may, what you don't. That's okay. It totally is. I'm not here to imprint or to have you believe in something more so than what you believe in. I would never want to do that. I believe that we can see how we can be attached to things, and some people would say it's a trigger with the life experiences. And when our barometer rises and we feel like, whoa, wait a second here, what was that? 2 months? 2 months of psychic warfare? Try 7 years. 7 years just to come to realization of wholesome mindset. 7 years. Lord love a duck, right? Seriously. Oh my gosh, how many times I've had to hit my head against the wall. I'll be kind to myself. Another teaching of another monk, right? Be kind to yourself. There's even a story about monks and being kind to themselves, including Buddha. And so I just have to chuckle. I just have to be with what is and just go, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for that opportunity for me to be really uncomfortable and upset with a situation, and to be able to accept what is and leave it into the hands of something greater. And it's not even greater than myself or greater than the other person's self. It's like as a collective and an ambiance presence and what is, and realizing we can't be shooting each other down. Even in a faith of different things, you can have friendly fire. So what I mean by that is the old military terminology, that you might have a fire not the fire fight response. You can have, let's say, a jet that, fires on something. Not a jet. Okay, either way. The point being is that when it really comes down to it, you can be under the same umbrella and you can have all these 4 different styles of people. Let's say they all believe in Buddhism. They can still have conflict of understanding, conflict of reasoning with one another. They can see maybe one of the mice says, I'm a lot smarter than you are. I know Dharma teachings. I know it by the back of my hand. And then you can have somebody else going, well, guess what? Mine comes through experiences. I know. Oh, wow. Look at that. I got to experience this. And here I am, I'm growing from it, I'm ascending from it. Not that one's any better than the other. It's perspective and how it is that we view it amongst other things. And so we wouldn't be able to experience it without one another. We really wouldn't. Like today, for example, my experience, I'm sure it was heard in the universe. And then all of a sudden there's, Anjan going, okay, here we go. And then even tonight in the teachings, he says, I'd like to bring some, new monks forward and this and that. And we're like, yes, of course. Everybody has life experiences. Please share in that transition and how things came about for that person. And so that's pretty cool. It'd be kind of ironic if one of the monks that I've had experience with, or a person that I knew as a person is now a monk, and how that would come forward as an experience, because I know I'm one of the most forgiving people you'll ever meet. But it doesn't mean you got permission to stomp all over me, to say the least. And so when those rhyming things come forward, that's kind of like an ascension of my team that comes forward, like honestly, with Ascending Master Buddha. And I'll just share this experience and then end this, please, because it's already 4621, which is, 4621, which is 13, which is a really good number. And so the point being is here, by the way, when I do numbers, it comforts me. When I do light language, it comforts me, because it's the soulful essence of me that comes forward. And this is not, the light language is a little bit different, because it's a soulful remembrance of different languages, of lives I've lived, and they come forward in unique ways. Like I'm talking Cantonese, Ojibwe, Cree, you name it, just different dialects, different languages, where it just comes naturally, and it brings me comfort, especially in the universe, if I'm feeling like I'm being psychically attacked and there's ill regard and ill intent. And yes, this is true too. I'll call on Archangel Michael and I'll be like, okay, Elmara, yep, just instantly. I'm like, I have faith, that much strength and faith in what is. I mean, even this book, again, not doing promos, but just showing you, even in this book, there has been invocations that have occurred. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Oh my, when I get like this, it's like a channeling thing, and it's like, okay, what do you want me to say? What are we getting out? I'll take a breath for a moment. So when it comes to, I don't even know what to say anymore. That's okay. That's because there is such a thing of existence where in the universe you could be channeling, you could be doing things, and maybe someone comes in and they think they're a hierarchy and they think they have a greater understanding, and they may be part of a collective that try to shut down things of you coming forward with truth. And what is truth? Your truth can be very different than their truth, and there's nothing wrong with either way, and of learning, of creating, of moving forward. I know I was speaking earlier about how I was upset that here's these people talking about, kind of like wanting control of human mankind again. And we're talking about, okay, God has to be back into the schools and not giving people freedom of choice. And I'm like, but do we not see that there's multiculturalism? If somebody believes in Allah, they believe in Allah. If they believe in Jesus, they believe in Jesus. If they believe in God, they believe in God. If they believe in Jehovah, they believe in Jehovah. However it may be, right? I mean, whoever. They can believe in Babaji. They can believe in their daughter. They can believe in whatever faith they want to believe in. That is their human rights as a sovereign being moving forward. Because people have these experiences, and I'm talking about traumatic experiences, I get it. Oh man, experiences that are just unfathomable. Like you can't even, if you told any other human beings, they think you were nuts. They would think like, oh my, we're all unique seeds. We're all lotuses. We all blossom like a rose in all different ways. No rose is alike. No lotus is alike. No person is alike. And it's for great reason. It's creation. We are all part of creation. We truly are. And so again, back to resonating with even the simplicity of a whole bunch of umbrellas of different faiths. There are those that are at spiritual warfare within the same umbrella. And I mean, like, for example, you can be a Christian and you can go to church, and one person can be there going, yeah, okay, I know there's a lot missing from the Bible, but I'm still here in the faith of Jesus Christ. And then somebody else is like, yeah, well, guess what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that outside their faith. Um, and who are we to say any different? Who are we to say any different? It's like you can have somebody that's doing more than one job at the same time, and now you're going to tell them, no, you're not allowed to. It's like, let's say somebody's a mathematician and they're a lawyer, and they enjoy doing both jobs. No, you're not allowed to. Those are totally different. Like, who are we to say otherwise? Who are we to say that if somebody is a mathematician, but they're also a lawyer, who are we to take that away from them and say, oh, no, just concentrate on being a lawyer. Oh, just concentrate on being a mathematician. The same thing goes for faith. If you have faith in more than one faith, and you're willing to learn from all these different faiths, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you. And if people start to try to put you in the box and say, no, my dear, you're off, you're derailed because you are too curious, and that's gonna, you're gonna curse yourself, and you're gonna really experience a lot of pain and suffering in the process. Okay, I didn't know I'd be sharing this with you guys, by the way, but it's just, I guess, as a collective, what's coming forward. And so in order to live a life full of fulfillment, of joy, you're going to meet different people on all walks of path. And if you're willing to be of love and kindness, then you're going to respect every faith, no matter what path anyone is walking. There may be people that have been on a certain path and they were there for 20, 30 years, and then they go, I'm done with that. I think I'm going to go on this path now. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Or they may be doing both, which can be a shocker to some people. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's all of creation. It's all of us as human beings. As long as we're evolving and we're being of love and kindness and being genuine in the process, intentions in purity is everything. If you are of love and kindness and your intentions are pure and you're genuine, you're authentic, and you're full of compassion and love, and I mean compassion and love, you know it, you feel it, you experience it. And having the knowing of what is. So I was like putting myself in the box of the mouse, the second mouse, and being the mouse that goes into the hole that's already there. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to just do it. Consciousness. This is the symbol for consciousness. And so for me, that's exactly what it is. It's being consciously aware that, yeah, I'm living a life experience. I understand I'm going through pain and suffering because I'm a mover and a shaker. I know that my personality and the life experience I've had, like this past life where I knew I was a slave, I was a warrior, to a point where I was this huge warrior. And it was almost like I had no clothes on. I was a man, and I'd be whipped all the time. And then all of a sudden, the person dissipated smaller and smaller and smaller until they became invisible. And then it was like this big sunrise of freedom. That essence of me, that soulful part of me in that lifetime made me the persevere I am today. It made me the persevere I am today. So even Buddha talking about all the lives he lived, it wasn't just the one life, not even just the 7 enlightenment lives he lived. These are experiences. He became aware, soulfully aware. Even Buddha took me to the thought form before, even doing this video. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. It must have been today. And so brought me to this awareness that even families, when you have somebody who is a fortune teller, for example, and the mother is a fortune teller, and the mother got this awareness of her child, right? And then all of a sudden, the fortune teller validates that and says, yes, this is what it is your son's path is. All of a sudden, there's imprinting there no matter what. So why do you think Buddha did it so many times over and over and over and over and over again? Right? And so there is imprinting, there is choices, there is at the beginning the protection of him as a human being until they couldn't protect him anymore. He had to go and explore, left his wife and his child, who actually later recognized what it was he was doing for greater good. And so I know even myself, when I first started learning the teachings of Dharma, I was like, what? Buddha did not. And I was like the defender. Buddha could not have left his wife and child. Well, that was the mindset of me and my loyalty and who I am as a human being, and having a hard time accepting and understanding the greater good of his journey. The same thing goes with Jesus Christ. Some say, oh no, the Mary Magdalene, there's no way that there was a child, created with Mary Magdalene. I don't know about you, but I believe it to be so. I really do. I believe that there was a creation and she was hidden, and has to do with all this hierarchy stuff, and there's so much more to it. And I know they've done films and movies about it, and there's the imprinting of it at the same time. Some say, and I've read about it recently, with Mary Magdalene and Lady Nada being her higher self. And I'm like, oh, Lord, love a duck. Because I'm like, I don't even like using that word higher self. Your divine being self as an essence of oneness and all that is. Like for me, 2026, a homecoming way and oneness of what is, and ambiance presence, and moving forward, always being of love. And sometimes love may be where you're frustrated. A kindness, right? And how you present yourself in sweetness and kindness. And of course, I'm thinking of Angel Daniel, and that's the programming within me. And so when it really comes to the bigger picture of things, and we have to be love and kindness, it's really, really important, because we never know what it's like to be in the shoes of another. No human being is alike. And I still believe in this puppeteering stuff, and Dolores Cannon and her galactic being experiences, and how she didn't refer to it at that time that way, but she knows it to be true in this time. And so when it comes to, all these experiences, and we've all had them, which sometimes can cause us trauma, and that goes back to the energetic stuff that even having DSM now, and then you're kind of like, what? There's a diagnosis connect to the fact that you felt sexually violated energetically. How is it that they get away with that? Right? You'd be surprised, the mastermind and people that can do things with their mind. You've seen videos of it, how people, there's been a documentary where this woman can help people come to a place where they can orgasm, and they don't need to have human touch or anything, but they can make themselves from a consciousness orgasm. Well, if they can do that, do you not think that they can sexually violate another? Truly. Of course they can. Would I want to do such a thing to someone? No. There's such repercussion for that, of pain and suffering. I would never want to do that to another. So, it's interesting, because there was this image of somebody from the monastery that kept on coming, and they were like, oh, maybe I have romantic interest for him, and blah, blah. I'm not going there. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Not because he's not handsome and he's sweet and he's a kind human being. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? And so a little frustrated with the universe sometimes, and how that stuff's unfolding, because even you see these people breaking up and other people getting together, and you're just like, and I don't want to, like, what is it about me? What is the attachment that I'm disgusted with people that are marrying people that are more than a century older than them? Like, what is it about that? And I'm like, okay, this could be, or those that live a polygamy life. And I'm like, okay, let's just say I have soulful imprinting of past life stuff that surfaces even in this lifetime, where it's kind of like you think about way back when there were these girls that were teenagers that had to marry men like 3-4 times older than them. You don't think that has a it's like Romeo and Juliet, right? Or like there are these situations where you're just kind of going, whoa, I've seen it. Spirit has brought it, where I saw one time there was a man, and you can tell there was a polygamy situation and very young wives. And I'm like, yeah, those are like, that's control. But who am I to bear judgment? I have to let that go. That's not about me. That's not. But then you think to yourself, oh, I'm a mover and a shaker. And in the world we live in our society, that's not allowed. But then again, a law is a law. I'm there feeding a deer when I'm not supposed to be. So who am I? I'm being a hypocrite. I know there's a big difference between the two things, but at the same time, it's like, again, bearing judgment. We all have to be accountable for what it is we do, no matter what we do. And can we live with what we do? That's what it comes down to, in a loving kindness way. And it really comes down to all this hoopla that they're talking about. And they've been doing this for over a century, a couple of centuries now, about narcissists. And I'm like, a narcissist is what? And then I'm reading it because someone sends me it, and I'm looking at it going, oh, wow, Lord love a duck, because that's exactly the description of the way this person is acting and behaving. But then, even then, I don't want to cross the line because I'm not a psychiatrist. And even then, who made psychiatrists God? Like, really, there are people that have been tortured, that have been driven to go and become doctors because of the upbringing, because of the torturous things they've gone through, even being psychic, having these abilities, and they like, whoa, right? So you never know who's amongst you, no matter if it's somebody that's homeless. And this comes down to Ascending Master Jesus, Yahshua. He can transmit through anyone. He can make anyone experience an enlightenment experience. He can ebb and flow through you in ways like he's taking care of that red tape, and you'd be amazed, and you'd be like, oh, wow, that wasn't like me or myself. That was beautiful. Wow, what can I learn from that? That was amazing. Wow. So when people think about channelers or think about psychics or think about things of the sort, they say, oh, it's the demon that does that. Oh, it's that. They can be all nice and do this and do that. I don't know. I just, you know what? When there are people that have been bashed, let's say, that have left spirituality and they go to Christianity, and one in particular, her whole business, like, she's in debt, and she was a nice person, and she was creating, like, man, she says it's the devil that, it's Satan that made her create all this stuff. I don't know, Ascending Master Jesus, Yahshua, one of the same, Evan flowed through me and stood up in a room and defended her while they were all with these psychic attacks, like laser tongues, bashing who she is and her character. And because people felt betrayed by her, because she had to walk away from what it was she was doing, because she truly, in her path, believed that it was the devil, Satan, this and that. That's her journey. That's her experience. Who are we to bear judgment upon that? And it really comes back down to, again, even when you're in those situations where people are bashing, and I know, I've said it till the cows came home. There were stones being shot. By the way, I have this beautiful stone I'll show you. There was stones being thrown. And today I was reminded that St. Paul picked up a stone. I don't believe it's in the Bible, to remind him of his experience. And had that stone for however long, I don't know, if he gifted it away or kept it, but it comes back to the wholesome mindset. Really, it does. And reevaluating the Eight Noble Path, and for those that have different faiths, to, to reset. And we're talking about kind of recalibrating and going, okay, what was it that set me off? Was it my own experiences? And I felt empowered to share it and belittle others in the process because that set me free. No, it's like, it doesn't set you free. It may bring you peace temporarily, but doesn't bring you an inevitable, like it doesn't bring you to nirvana. And so, again, I can't help it. I love the angels. I love the saints. I love the God and Goddess and all that is. I feel like I've been brought to this earth to live a life experience. I felt like I had completion in a way, and we all are. There's always completion on our path as well. It's almost like some people have mentioned, and I listened to an audio today about the Matrix. It was mentioning about how people, he worded it different, but it's like turning another leaf. It's like born again. It's like people that are rebirth, even in the life that they're living, and have different faith, values, views, and they're taking a different path, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, I can't say it enough. Love and kindness. But again, I'd rather that kind of imprinting and receiving that and being cautious of what I read, even what I write. By the way, when you write, you have to be cautious too. And that's okay. You make sure that only light surrounds you. And so that way you're not getting entrapped in things that are not necessarily for you. And so I'm going to leave it at that. May you be well, may you be happy, may you, everything I wish for myself as well. But my intentions, just so you know, and even taking the butt out, my intentions are pure. And I'm sure each and every person in the faith that they're doing is pure as well. I'm not going to erase the other video that I did. I'm going to leave it because it's a part of the experience of what is. And so I have to chuckle and leave this last moment just to tell you that when the light dimmers, like up and down, that's like when I say the light, like the light of who we are. Remember, Mother Mary, even as the Queen of Angels, will say, and this is even further than Kyle Gray's book and the teachings of truth being truth. There's this, it's kind of like a goddess as well. She's not only, I mean, she does things that are miraculous. And she showed me one time in church. She said, like, I can transmit through anyone to help with healing. So us healers out there, it's not a matter of us going around and putting our hands on everyone and healing them. It doesn't work that way. It's not the experience that Joshua had. This is a little bit different in the day of 2026. There are miracles, don't get me wrong. I've been blessed where I feel like Mother Mary has ebb and flowed through me to help create miracles. I don't rely on it. I don't attach to it because it's an ebb and flow of an experience. It's like opening this book and then all of a sudden Mother Mary's page opens up and I'm doing the invocation before going to church and I'm doing preparation for it in order for it to happen. And so there's different situations. I've been in a park where the integrated energy therapy, where I have my master instructor, at the time, I think I had all my levels, but not my master instructor yet. And I remember this military U.S. veteran, and he was in pain. And I'm like, because I would pick up pain bodies. And so to try to help alleviate for that person, I'm like, do you mind if I, absolutely. And then the person's vision was changing and things were going on. I'm a conduit. I wasn't like, this was pure love, pure, it was, and even then I was told, like, I can't touch your back. I have to leave that as it is. And he had back pain, but I couldn't be the person to heal him of his back pain at that time. I wasn't meant to. And so we can't act on demand. People think, oh, you healers, you can act on demand. We can make it happen. You can't guarantee it. It's the ebb and flow of our guides and whatever is meant to be, because we cannot affect other people's ascensions and what it is they're going through. Now, some people believe, and I believe this too, believe it or not, I've had excruciating pain. I know what it's like to have such bad back pain that I could barely sit down. And when I used to work mobile crisis, I remember there were times it was like, whoa, like heating pad. I'd buy those pads that would heat my back up, everything and anything. I'd go on my calls and it was miraculous how sometimes the pain would be alleviated in a point where it's like, whoa. And then I'd come back to the office and sit down in the chair and be like, oh, I could barely sit down. Meanwhile, one of my coworkers in the back office going about ill regard, ill intent, and psychic attacks, and she was a Mormon. And so it was like, whoa, and Spirit is showing me that. I'm like, okay, I don't hold real regard or ill intent, because you know what? You have to forgive those, for they did not know what it was they were doing. Sometimes, though, somebody can enunciate something to someone else, and then that person that has the abilities, they can use the ill intent, ill regard, and next thing you know, they're the ones behind the scenes psychically attacking people, because the perspective, the lines get crossed. Like, we're talking about telephone lines of communication, and the next thing you know, somebody is like on them, like, I won't use the expression, but either way, they're there and they're like doing things that are not of love and kindness. And so that goes as a collective for the whole universe. And then there's those that will interrupt, and they'll come in. They can be annoying as heck. And then you're like, oh, please, you're like a hungry ghost. Please leave me be. And not that you want to label it, but sometimes it can be even worse than that. Imagine. And so I'll leave it at that with love and kindness, and just know that there's a lot of support out there. Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? And remember the foundation of support. It's so important. It doesn't mean you have to gather up a tribe. It doesn't mean you have to have a collective of people. But it sure makes a difference when you do go to like a steeple, whether it's a monastery, whether it's a church, whether it may be a group of collective people that are of love and kindness, that are willing to hear your experiences. However it may be for you is okay with me. Just remember, be of love and kindness, truly, truly, and most and foremost to yourself. And so it's like, may I be free from anger. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from jealousy. May I be free from basically pain. May I be free from mental pain. May I be free from physical pain. May I be happy. May I live. There's different ways you can do the love and kindness, okay? However you want to create that for yourself. You can even say, may I be free from jealousy in the matrix, the universe, the ethers, however it is you feel you're a part of. It's okay with me. Buddha's not going to get upset. Buddha loves the creativity in all of us, how we come up with different love and kindness in the way that we do. And you know, I know somebody who does it every week. She puts a video on and she does it. I may do the same thing. And at the same time, though, I love when the monks do it and be in sync with that, because it's so beautiful, and they work so hard to be doing what it is that they're doing. And so we got to pay tribute and respect to that as well. Not that anyone at any time is in a hierarchy, okay? Because the higher you go, it's like a peg that comes down into the ground, and it's like, okay, foundation. And boy, okay, we got these stacks of foundation built. Some of these people work really hard to be where they're at, but I still know that at any time, anybody can be in a crisis dependent on their psychosocial stressors and what's going on for them. So remember that. It can happen to anyone at any time, whether it's boots on the ground, in the universe way, however it may be. Just be of love and kindness moving forward. I have to say thank you to my guides, that of Source, that is part of this beautiful band that just invokes me in a special way, to say the least. I'm grateful. And may you be as well. If you're willing to receive, again, your destiny, your choice, whatever is and however you think is entirely up to you and part of your journey.